Lately I feel insecure. As if anything I could say would ring hollow. Nothing I could say would be adequate. Everything has been said before. If it hasn't, we can imagine it. The problem isn't that it has yet to be said, but that the structures of our physical world are such that it won't be heard by those who need to hear it. In the face of this world, this dire situation we were born into, burdened with a fight for our right to define our own reality, met with an enemy bred to kill us, who, short of a miracle, won't change in time, surrounded on all sides by apathy and escapism from so many, all I can think to say is, thankfully we have Kenshi Goats Only Part 4, so we don't have to think about all that. Welcome back. Last time we had just finished thieving our way to 383,000 cats. Well, I did most of that off screen, but yeah. Now I have enough cats that I can finally be introduced to all of you. But first, I must scour the wastes to locate some randomly spawning goat herders camps. Rule amendment. Now that the boring thievery grind is over, I will be resetting the experience rate to 1 times. This means we will have to truly rise from the bottom, and the gameplay will have better pacing. I imagine some fellow Kenshi heads are wondering why I didn't just buy 29 baby goats for 2k each, and it's a good question. My main issue with that is that it takes 40 days for a goat to grow from pup to elder. During this time, they are capped at a smaller percentage of their whole stats. For example, I believe a pup has only 10% of their actual stats, and are thus very vulnerable and hard to train, as well as being easily knocked out, killed, and even eaten by some NPCs. They would also be too slow to escape from enemies if I pulled aggro by mistake. This would be particularly difficult as we're playing with maximum squad sizes. Plus this doesn't even address how much they eat. I'd have to be constantly stealing food, running around as my baby goats get attacked and killed by skimmers and other groups, managing them separately so they don't get affected negatively while we're stealing, and the fact that I'd be feeding them for 40 days before they're at full strength, without a pack bull or garrus to carry the food, that'd be a lot of extra backpack management, and leave less room for stolen goods. So yeah, I opted out because of all those problems. Perhaps such a strategy would be entertaining in its own right, as I spend an inordinate effort trying to keep these goats alive and fed for 40 days while I steal stuff for no real reason. That might be the boring part. Since I was going to have to do that anyways, at least now I can skip over much of the trouble of waiting for them to grow up. I've found my first goat herders camp in the hidden forest, which is good, since the local factions are friendly and agreeable. Mostly a bunch of refugees from fascist nations. I realized just recently that I will need a bit more cats for the full purchase, so I stole some stuff and sold it, putting us at 413k cats. This nomad has so many goats. Is it because I increased the squad sizes, or do they just normally have this many goats? I'll be able to buy 25 of you here. Now for the names. We're going in order of patrons who have donated the most over time. Valued customer. May you forever be known as the most prolific Val simp of all time. Robin. Yeez. Dire Gentleman. James Wang. That guy from earlier. The Fantabulous Gender Emporium. Nadia A. Aisha Madhu. Alki. Unique Ashes. Clarissa Gavin. Alex T. Marshall Kylan. Needleful. Devin Foe. Keki. Bimbo Politics. Darcy Black. Joe Millionaire. Pseudo Wudo. Graham. And thank you to my $1 patrons as well, who are just as essential to keeping this project going. I don't know how quite to express my gratitude. Thank you for staking your dreams partly on my shoulders. Every day I wake up knowing that some of the coolest people on the planet are with me. It gives me strength. We're in this together, my children. I'm proud of you. I love you. Thank you for supporting me when so many others gave up on me. 25 of you so far. 4 more to go. I'm going to go to Dreg now to buy a unique goat as well. I wasn't kidding when I said this game was impressively ugly. It looks like goats just do their walk animation in the water. Oh fuck. Devin, where are you going? Wah. Well, guess we're loading already. This looks so ridiculous. Wait, oh no. We ran through a Holy Nation guard post. I'm sorry. This is my fault. We are way undertrained to be taking this fight, but we don't have any choice. Apparently my text-to-speech voice decided to say choice as choice. Moving on. Y'all are too slow to run. It should be okay if I play this tactically. 3 goats per enemy combatant should stunlock them well enough. I'll need to prioritize extra goats on special units, and manage goats that wander off into vulnerability. Keeping in mind the rule I set for myself, the human can't do any fighting, only healing and battle management. Target adjustment. The best way to watch this series going forward, is to assign yourself a goat to watch, to root for, and to channel your energy into. They're depending on you. One down. They can be beaten. Fascist punks get horn-butted. Okay, time to heal. With 1 human, and a low first aid skill, this is going to be slow and difficult. I'll need to steal and drop each of their weapons, so that when they get up they aren't much of a threat. So tedious. Over time, some of the guards who weren't fatally injured may recover and get up to fight again, but since I've taken their weapons they will be uselessly fist-fighting, and easy to take out. I won't show each of these tiny encounters. Most of you weren't injured too badly, and recovered on your own. I've gathered you all up here so I can heal you easier. So, we survived our first battle. What a mess. Damn, here comes another Holy Nation patrol, and we weren't even fully healed yet. This could be the end for us. If too many of you goats become incapacitated, it will be a nightmare waiting for you to recover from comas on the ground with only 1 human. Hashtag Goat Army never gives up. Maybe I should loot and drop their weapons now, but it kind of interrupts the flow of combat. Just worried that the balance of this fight is so delicate that even one of them getting up to fight again could make the difference. Clarissa, no. It's important not to let any of you wander off to fight on your own. At least 3 goats per enemy is best. Unfortunately for us these guys use heavy weapons, which can hit many opponents at once. I'm still learning how to manage the camera for stuff like this. I apologize if this hasn't been a great viewing experience so far. Time to drop all their weapons and heal up. I can't believe we did it. In a normal situation, having many humanoid units, healing a large group is easier, and comatose units can be carried to safety, but in this case, I have no choice but to wait for you all to recover. It takes time, more than anything. And that can bring new bands of enemy units too. That took forever. I kept having to steal bandages off of the soldiers' bodies too. It would help to get my hands on a larger medical kit. I could also use a splint kit for limb injuries, as even one of you having a limb injury can slow the entire party to a crawl, as you can see. Okay. Off to drag now. Wow. These are my kind of people. Some kind of nudist tribe? Same. Doesn't seem like I can talk to any of them. What the absolute fuck? Why are there so many nudists? Let's look this faction up. Okay. So the Shrieking Bandits are initially hostile, and will confront you with an indiscernible language of shrieks. Apparently, we can befriend them over time by choosing the right shrieks? Someone's being attacked over here. Gonna stay out of that one. Considering becoming friendly with the Starving Bandits faction for once. What a ridiculous idea. A hive mind of hungry people. This is it. We're finally reunited. Apologies to Saint Hyena, who became my patron just late enough to miss out on becoming a goat. We will carry you with us in spirit, my friend. This is the beginning of our true journey. To liberation. To revolution. Yours is the goat horn that will pierce the heavens. But first, we must train. Brought some bandages and a sleeping bag from the camp. As was written by Bimbo Marx in his magnum condom opus, Cappy. What? I'm on the phone. The starving bandit masses are the truly revolutionary class, so I will attempt to befriend them, along with other factions players typically just destroy for experience. This can apparently be done by patiently healing their wounds, buying their people out of slavery, and responding favorably to dialogue encounters. I don't like how they're programmed to be so difficult to befriend, and essentially become training fodder for most players who didn't realize there were methods of negotiating with them. I've reorganized everyone into 10 squads of 3, and become more familiar with hotkeys to help manage everyone in fights. One of my goals is to befriend all factions, including the really difficult ones. For example, the cannibal faction starts at -100 relations. This means they will attack on sight in most situations, and it will be particularly difficult to get them to like us. A tribe that captures and eats people. I thought at first that such a conception was rooted purely in racist colonial ideas, but I looked it up and apparently some peoples around the world genuinely practice forms of cannibalism. Though of course most of them don't capture people to eat. I heard that some of them were getting sick from eating human brains. Is this story idea more acceptable in a post-apocalypse world? I don't know. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think about it. Either way, I think we can all agree that this game should let you change the cannibals, or do a cannibal playthrough. But that brings up an interesting question. Should we ally ourselves with a faction that attacks, captures and eats people, just for our own peace and satisfaction? Or should we make war against them to protect others? Well, I'm choosing to roleplay the idea that once we achieve good relations, we can influence them and make them better. Our journey to world peace begins now. We've encountered some fogmen in the distance. According to the wiki, it is literally impossible to negotiate with this faction. They are ant people who have lost their connection to their queen, and deteriorated to mindless zombies that eat people. Our first group of starving bandits reaching out for dialogue. There's no need for violence. Here, take 500 cats. That's nothing. Oh cool. They're our allies now. You can tell by the yellow cursor, but I read that this is only for their group and it's temporary. We still have more goodwill to build. We've arrived at a hive town. I was able to buy 3 medium medic kits at the hive. I need to steal a bit more, so I have money to free slaves and feed hungry bandits. I think we need to avoid any fights in starving bandit territory, as they may get pulled into the fight and become hostile to us. There are a group of fogmen ahead. They seem pretty weak, so maybe this is a good training opportunity. Sorry the goat names aren't clear in this recording. I'll try to be better about this going forward. It's going well so far. Another group of them showed up. Looks like the battle is just about over. Went pretty well. A few stragglers. Oh wow, look at them all. I think they're going to overrun us. Pull back. Regroup. We must meet them as one whole. Wow, you're all down. My only hope now is to sneak somewhere safe and heal you all when they finally leave. I hope none of you bleed out. That took forever, but it looks like this is our chance. Thankfully fogmen don't carry away animals like they do humanoids. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you better, my children. I'm sure you learned much from that encounter. I'm out of meds, and some of you are still bleeding out. With all of you so injured, our collective walking speed is too slow. Luckily I avoided damage to my legs in that fight, so I'm going to run to the Fog City Mongrel to buy some meds, and bring them back to heal y'all. I also grabbed a splint, used to stabilize damaged limbs, essentially keeps your walk speed from getting too painfully slow, and speeds up limb recovery, I think. I'm so glad none of you died. I think it's because the fogmen use blunt weapons. You only had your bones crushed, no big deal. So, I looked it up, and apparently, when you attack fogmen, there is a chance for another group of attacking fogmen to spawn nearby. This can lead to endless swarms of fogmen. That explains so much. Okay. We need to steal again. Let's rob everything we can from this holy nation city. Unsurprisingly, at this point, our stealth is so good that we can simply walk right by people in the dark of night without them noticing us. Okay. Pilfered 3 stores. Got a lot of expensive blueprints, a bunch of helmets and shirts, and a couple extra medical supplies. Let's head to a safe city to sell. We found a group of slave mongers. These guys work for slave societies to recapture slaves, and sometimes even enslave random people. I want to attack them, but I'm not sure we're strong enough to handle it. Here we go. 1 squad of 3 of you against each person. Anyone left will be dealt with after the initial targets are down. Goat names are about to disappear, so track your favored goat now. We did it. These guys won't be bothering anyone else. Afterwards, I disarmed them all and got to healing. While I was healing you all, I saw our first Dust Bandit group. Apparently, they start off with a negative disposition, but perhaps there is a way to ally with them. According to the wiki, it appears that we can improve our relations by giving them money, but they may still attack us. Not sure what to do. 46 Field Medic skill now. This increases the effectiveness of applied medicine, and how little of it you must use for the same effect. We've arrived at a hive village. There are a bunch of dead wild animals here. Looted their leather and horns to sell. Sold almost everything at the shops here, and made around 45k cats. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you've been having as much fun as I do. I'm going to try to develop the skills to be more cinematic as I play. Going forward, maybe the episodes will look nicer. I hope you'll come see me again. Gamer Girl Butt Pillow.